Have you heard of the Taisui? Not the kind you think of, but the kind that eats people. It is said to have come from a lump of white flesh brought back by a fisherman who went to sea. Since then, the fisherman worshipped it daily, claiming that lump was his grandmother. Villagers said he was crazy and not divorced until 2 months later. This fisherman died, his body completely devoid of flesh and blood. That strange lump of white flesh had vanished without a trace. Because the case was baffling, the police had no leads, so they came to me. The deceased, Zhang Kuilin, female 32 years old, after receiving the report. The police immediately sent officers to Penju village. According to police records, Zhang Kuilin's home was located in the southeast corner of the village. Before entering, they smelled a strange scent, not fishy or like decay, but an unusual fragrance. Then they entered the house, and the officers witnessed an unbelievable scene. Zhang Kuilin's body lay quietly in the center of the living room. To be precise, what they saw was hardly a body anymore. It looked more like a human skin without any flesh or blood. This was a death never seen before. After the body was handed over to the coroner, other officers continued the investigation. In the deepest part of the living room stood a shrine, on which was only a large white porcelain plate. Looking closer, the plate was stained with some transparent sticky liquid. Then after a thorough search, the police found a handwritten note under Zhang Kuilin's bed. Its content was bizarre and strange. August 25th, 2024. Grandma showed signs of skin peeling, confirming the guess of rejuvenation. And y'all, on August 25th, the day before Zhang Kuilin's body was found, the police initially suspected that Zhang Kuilin had joined a cult and was involved in some kind of evil ritual. But soon, further investigation overturned this conclusion. Relevant evidence confirmed that no third-party traces were found at the scene. Zhang Kuilin was neither a suicide nor murdered by someone else. So how did she die? The case hit a dead end, and the police were clueless, so they came to me. I am an antique shop owner. My ancestors served under Qin Shi Huang, responsible for exploring mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas as leaders of the Shanhai Temple. Back then, Shufu set sail on a mission to find the elixir of life, with the Shanhai Temple as the vanguard. Later, after major upheavals, the core members of the Shanhai Temple were squeezed out, leading to its faded into obscurity and passed down among the people. My grandfather's generation opened this antique shop. The authorities sent a commission regarding a bizarre death case. It could barely be called half a mystery, but after reviewing the case files, I couldn't calm down for a long time. I immediately called my partner. We cooperated wholeheartedly. After reviewing the files, we set off at once. That's how we boarded the train to the crime scene. Upon arrival, I asked the police to take us to the informant. The informant was 68-year-old Zhang Yufu, the deceased Zhang Kuilin's neighbor, and also the person who reported the case. At the time, he smelled something strange and came to Zhang Kuilin's house to check, only to discover that she was already dead. In Zhang Yufu's impression, Zhang Kuilin was a strange person. Although she was a local, she had lived in the city before and only returned to Penju village 2 months ago. After returning, she almost never interacting with people. We learned that Zhang Kuilin's routine was very regular. At dawn, she would set out to sea in a small fishing boat and only return at dusk. Strangely, although she went out every day, she never caught any fish. About 2 weeks later, at dusk, Zhang Yufu saw Zhang Kuilin carrying a black cloth bundle. Once while out for a walk, Zhang Yufu passed by Zhang Kuilin's door. He witnessed a terrifying scene. Zhang Kuilin was pulling a white, meat-like lump from a water jar. The lump was about the size of a face. She reverently placed it on the shrine in the living room. She spoke to the lump as if it were her grandmother, treating it like her actual grandmother. At this, Zhang Yufu swallowed hard. The scene was chilling. I immediately ran home. My furrowed brow is proof. What happened next? The next day, I went to see the village chief to ask him to handle the matter. The chief said Zhang Kuilin had a mental illness. She returned to the village because she couldn't get along in the fields due to this illness. I pressed him further. What was that white lump? The white lump was a Taisui. The village chief even showed us a science documentary explaining it as a junai, telling us not to be superstitious or scare ourselves. Currently, science explains Taisui as a large bacterial composite. After hearing this, I was thoughtful. My usually silent partner suddenly spoke. Has she always been alone? Your whole family is dead, so she must be alone. Did Zhang Kuilin's grandmother also die? Zhang Kuilin's notes mention her grandmother and even words like rejuvenation and returning to childhood. Zhang Yufu hesitated but finally nodded. He said Zhang Kuilin's grandmother, who died at sea 8 years ago, died under strange circumstances. According to Zhang Yufu, 8 years ago, that day, it was pouring rain with thick fog at sea. A small fishing boat set out. The sea was rough, and many were lost without regret. But Zhang Kuilin's grandmother refused to listen, and she rushed into the sea. He didn't say why she went out. When I asked him, he just said one sentence. Only in the rain can you see the road clearly. See what road? That's unknown. It can't be the legendary Penglai from the books, right? Hearing this, my partner and I looked at each other simultaneously. Then I interrupted the nonsense and brought Zhang Yufu to block in front of Zhang Kuilin's house. The water jar there was where Zhang Kuilin previously stored the Taisui. But at that time, the police had sealed off the scene. The water jar, including the shrine. So where did this so-called Taisui go? While I was pondering, a terrifying howl came. Zhang Yufu, who had just entered the living room, scrambled out, crawling and running while looking back as if something extremely terrifying was behind him. My partner immediately stopped him. Zhang Yufu struggled desperately, screaming, don't catch me, he's coming! Don't catch me, he's coming! I followed his gaze to the shared shrine in the living room. There was clearly nothing inside. I stepped forward and tried to be gentle. Uncle Zhang, look, what do you see? Zhang Yufu seemed to wake from a dream, shaking his head repeatedly. No, nothing at all. The police timely put on a stern face and quickly said, Brother Dan's murder case, you are responsible. The responsibility is huge. Zhang Yufu then directly knelt down, begging, Officer, I didn't see anything. Please don't ask anymore, I'm ready to kowtow. I hurriedly helped him up and looked at the officers. Comrades, please take Zhang first. Uncle, go back and rest. In this situation, we just have to wait for the emotions to settle. Then we can ask again. Officer, when Yan is ready to take Zhang Yufu away, what you saw was human skin, and it was your own skin, right? Instantly, Zhang Yufu's step froze. How did you know?